the implementation of that connection, well, we find that we're unwilling, we're confused, unready. There is something hindering us in our minds and hearts. We don't understand exactly what we lack in order to approach this from a distance. Far away, there are such systems, mechanisms, fields, force fields that repel us with all sorts of discernments to the effect that we don't know how to approach connection. And for years, we remain in a state where we want to approach it.
When it awakens in a person, not in each one, but it awakens here and there in people, a new desire that one does not feel, does not see any answer for it, not out of himself, not out of the world, as if he is in some embarrassment, some confusion. He has a question, he wants something, but he doesn't know what, from where. It's a small desire, but it doesn't allow one to rest. It doesn't leave one alone. And this way a person exists. He might live with it, with this desire, try to turn it off by all kinds of engagements of this world, all kinds of things, just like that, until this desire, nevertheless, somehow manifests itself stronger and stronger, and then a person is pushed to a place where he discovers that this desire has an answer. There is some contact with some mechanism, some society, books, something, and this is how one discovers the wisdom of Kabbalah.
ב-22? חכמים. 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 אותך צריך להעיר, אם לא רשמת חי, להעיר בימים שלך, אם לא רשמת לא להעיר. אני שואל אם אתה רוצה להעיר אותך או לא. אם לא קמת להעיר, אם לא רשמת חי. כן. לא להעיר. טוב.
למען החי ורעה
Today on duty we have from Russia, Omsk, Perm, the Barnaul group from Russia, Venezuela, which is 10 number 10, Germany, Nuremberg, which is 10 number 1, and 10 number 19 from Petach Tikva, and we'll move to Nuremberg.
Good morning, dear friends. Question for the workshop. What does it mean to have faith in the Creator in the 10? As a 10. What does it mean to have faith in the Creator in the 10?
Before we answer this question, we'll read a source from Shamari. Shamari 4. The essence of one's work is only to come to the sensation of the existence of the Creator, meaning to feel the existence of the Creator, that the whole earth is full of His glory. This will be one's entire work, meaning all the vigor that he puts into the work will be only to achieve that, and not for any other things. One should not be misled into having to acquire anything. Rather, there is only one thing a person needs, namely faith in the Creator. One should not think of anything, meaning that the only reward that one wants for his work should be to be rewarded with faith in the Creator. This is Bala Sulam, Shemari 4. What is the reason for the heaviness one feels when annulling before the Creator in work? And the workshop question is again, what does it mean to attain faith in the Creator as a 10? What does it mean to attain faith in the Creator as a 10?
Faith in the Creator, as we heard, is to feel the Creator. It's that the quality of bestowal lives among us, and we strengthen it together between us by working in the 10.
Faith in the Creator is something that without the 10 is inattainable. And it means that basically each one comes out of himself out of his own egoistic reality into a new reality that exists inside of bestowal, inside of actions of connection. That is where we discover the ten and the Creator.
It means that we are making efforts to connect in order to give contentment, and we feel that we can't do it ourselves, and we're asking for help.
I think that this is what's beautiful about our path, that you come to the morning lesson and then you remember that you need to work as a 10 and to get out of yourself really forcefully and to begin this lesson together. And it's a great joy that we have come to the morning lesson, and now we have the opportunity to begin the work. Just we need to remember that we do it as a 10, not as a collection of individuals.
To
reach faith in the Creator is to reach a mutual prayer, with mutual forces, to reach a feeling that we can't do anything alone. And together we're turning to the light to make the connection, just like it made the shattering.
Yeah. There's no such thing, faith in the Creator, which is not in the 10, because the 10 is the spiritual kli. If faith is a vessel of bestowal, then it has to be in the 10. Therefore, there is no such thing as faith in the Creator not in the 10. How are we rewarded with that? It's through the efforts that we make in connection. Just like now, in the study, we should come and intend to begin with that we want, in the connection between us now, in the study that we have between us now, to truly discover the quality of bestowal. And we will awaken that state.
Also by mutual annulment, integrating, at least attempting to.
It seems that the work of the Creator cannot be achieved except in the 10. And the 10 is not necessarily the 10 people sitting at the table, rather it's us, all the friends in the world Kli, through our mutual effort to actually make the quality of bestowal greater than anything else we have in life, beyond all of our corporeal qualities. Specifically here, there is the ability to truly do work which is above reason.
And in this way, at the beginning of the lesson, you come disconnected, the thoughts aren't here yet. You don't know where you came for, and you gradually awaken to where you came to, and all the friends' efforts really awaken you and suddenly give you that feeling and understanding and the inspiration to see everybody's efforts. From this, we build the importance of the quality of bestowal together. And from this, we can reach faith in the Creator.
Yeah, it's truly felt in the preparation for the lesson how much each one comes in one state and how much the preparation is important, because we're really preparing for the change of our nature. It's like a warm-up before we're doing some athletic action. If you don't do it, then you might get injured. This is because we are basically engaging in an essential change of our perception.
And to attain the faith of the Creator in the 10, it could be, I truly don't know what it is, but according to what I heard from you, it's just revealing the Creator through the friends.
So it turns out that this new knowledge is acquired in a new vessel, which is the result of overcoming, making efforts, and the prayer that finally emerges.
And that same faith should be expressed by feeling that there's this force that you have to turn to, that it is waiting for our demand, and that's the contentment we can give Him. By turning to Him, relating to Him, remember that all states come from Him, and all our yearnings have to be aimed through the tent to Him. And Kabbalists say that by that we give Him contentment.
And for that we have to turn to Him. We can turn to Him specifically if we try. Then indeed it's possible to turn to Him, because turning means turning with the desire. We don't have that desire. So actually our attempts, such as forcing this desire.
Nirenberg, second question.
Второй вопрос. Для внутреннего семинара. Как я забочусь о том, чтобы товарищи удерживали...
Second question for a quiet workshop. How do I ensure that the friends will hold on to the greatness of the Creator above everything during the lesson and throughout the day? Again, quiet workshop. How do I ensure that the friends will hold on to the greatness of the Creator above all during the lesson and throughout the day?
So
friends, we remind you that we do not use cell phones during the lesson except for friends who are on duty and receive the personal approval. Anyone asking a question is asked to stand up, hold the microphone close to his mouth and speak loudly and clearly. We are continuing with a lesson on the topic of attack on connection. Hello, we are in a lesson on the topic of attack on connection. You can ask questions on our website, hub.tv. Selected questions will be asked during the lesson.
I don't know if you can say this in Hebrew, attack on the connection or for the connection. It's like against all the disturbances of connection. Well, anyway, we understand what it means, right? The attack has to take place until we discover the connection, and in the connection discover the upper force. Meaning the attack is endless, that's our life, and in every moment we need to be in arvut towards that attack. Mutual help, to take care of everyone, because the success can only be general and not any individual success. That's why there's a problem here. We can't reach it personally. We can personally reach all kinds of discernments on the path, but the state we have to attain as the last generation is a state that should be revealed only in our connection. As much as each one tries, there's also a competition here. As much as the envy, that it can help attaining it, but the envy can be positive. As much as I'm envious that each one helps each other and I see myself as retarding in it, and then I attack by wanting to help everybody connect, that I search where else can I complete my participation, all my opportunities that each and every one has in order to cause connection. They have to be in an attack. It could be attacking the connection. Yeah, maybe it's right the way they wrote it. Well, let's keep going.
We are in excerpt number 28 out of the writings of Rabash's second volume, article, What is the preparation to receive the Torah in the work? Our sages said, the word of Torah is not given to an idol worshipper. As was said, he did not do so for any nation, and let them not know the ordinances, since they have no need for the Torah.
In the wisdom of Kabbalah we learn that when it says that you can't, meaning is prohibited, or it couldn't be, because it's all revealed only according to the vessels. So if a person is still akum, meaning worshipping idols, that he doesn't see in everywhere that only the force of the Creator is working, also on the bad and also on the good, and that there's none else besides him, but the two lines come to a person to confuse him and help him and support and contradict. If he still doesn't see that behind those two lines is the middle line, which is the Creator only, that is taking care of him in everything he has in life, the worst things and the best things, so he still is considered akum, the idol worshipping. It also means akum is from the word crooked, that he deviates to one of the two lines and doesn't stay on the middle line. So obviously in this way he feels the need for the Torah, meaning to be taken care of by the light, and he wants to reach the middle line, that in that middle line only the upper force is in control and there's no difference between good and evil, but it is all done for the best, for him to hold himself exactly on the middle towards the Creator. There's no good, there's no bad, it's the Creator doing everything, and when he's the one important, so all the differences between the states disappear. It's all, the main thing is that behind them it's the Creator. Yes.
Again, our sages said, a word of Torah is not given to an idol worshipper, as was said, he did not do so for any nation, and let them not know the ordinances, since they have no need for the Torah. One who does work that is foreign to us, meaning for his own sake, can live without the Torah.
Meaning that he wants to run either from the good or from the bad for his own benefit, in all kinds of thoughts, and not that he takes all these things that work on him also from the bad and also from the good, only for discovering the Creator, only in order to discover Him.
Can live without the Torah, for he does not need the help of the Torah.
Meaning the force that will escort him exactly towards revealing the middle line, the Creator, that is taking care of him in two lines.
Only Israel, those who want to work for the sake of the Creator, need the light of Torah, for the light in it reforms him. That is, it is impossible to defeat the evil within him without the Torah. By this we can interpret what our sages said, the Torah exists only in one who puts himself to death over it. We should understand the word exists. What does it tell us? We should interpret this according to what our sages said. The Creator said, I have created the evil inclination, I have created the Torah as a spice. That is, the Torah should be a spice. In whom is that so? Since there is no light without a kli, no filling without a lek. For this reason, they said that those who want to put themselves to death, meaning want to put to death the will to receive for their own sake, and want to do everything for the sake of the Creator, see that they cannot do so on their own. To them, the Creator said, I have created the evil inclination, I have created the Torah as a spice.
Meaning that they feel that they want to reach only into grasping onto the Creator, the middle line, that everything comes from Him, and not to get excited either from the good or from the bad. But the main thing is to hold on to the Creator even though they feel the good and bad, and to be above those feelings that can be horrible, very intense, that constantly grow one against the other. Because you can't have light without darkness or darkness without light. That's why people that are ready to hold on to the Creator, how do they get to it? When the left and right for them are completely equal, in an equal relation. Doesn't matter, right or left. Not good, not bad. If I take this as from the Creator, so He's above the feeling of the good and bad, I'm holding on only to Him, and I start revealing Him. So how can we reach revelation of the Creator? Please.
First of all, we reach the revelation of the Creator not inside of ourselves. Also, these lines that we are talking about, the right line, the left line, it's all revealed with respect to the 10 within our work, within the group. And specifically through this finding this middle line and holding on to it, specifically there we discover the Creator, not like the idol worshippers or crooked who are kind of leaning sideways.
Yeah, akum from the word crooked, that the whole work is to find the straight line between the two crooked ones, and to give a equal relation towards all the states that show up, and above those feelings that awaken, to rise above them, not in ascent or descent, but ascent and left or ascent and right, meaning an opportunity to work on connection. Once this, once that, and from this we gradually build that quality of Creator, the quality of bestowal called Creator.
And to reach the quality of bestowal, well, we must not forget that between the two states there is only the reforming light. Only that light of the Torah is what makes the change.
This change happens to whoever doesn't want to work for himself and only wants to perform actions to come out of himself. The fact that nobody can, that's clear. But at least actions in the 10 and inviting the light, that's what eventually reveals the Creator.
And this actually means to awaken each other, to remind each other where everything comes from and where everything is going.
And all of the efforts we do, all the actions, are for the friend to get support that will have envy between us. We're actually aiming each other to rise above the left and right.
In order to answer the question, how do we come to the revelation of the Creator, we first have to ask what for. Why do we want to reach the revelation of the Creator? Like Shai said, if it's for my own self-benefit, apparently you're not in the right direction. It's not going to come from there. And if you're working outwardly, meaning towards others, for the benefit of humanity, for the benefit of the Creator Himself, outside of your own kelim, that's already the first step towards connection.
We're going to part number 29 from letter 57 of Bala Sulam.
There is no happier state in man's world than when he finds himself despaired with his own strength. That is, he has already labored and done all that he could possibly imagine he could do, but found no remedy. It is then that he is fit for wholehearted prayer for his help, because he knows for certain that his own work will not help him. As long as he feels some strength of his own, his prayer will not be whole, because the evil inclination rushes first and tells him, first you must do what you can, and then you'll be worthy of the Creator. It was said about it, the Lord is high and the low will see, etc. Once a person has labored in all kinds of work and has become disillusioned, he comes into true lowliness, knowing that he is the lowest of all people, and there is nothing good about his body. At that time his prayer is whole, and he is granted by his generous hand. The writing says about that, and the children of Israel sighed because of the work, etc., and their cry went up. It is so because at that time the whole of Israel came into a state of despair from the work. It is as one who pumps out in a punctured bucket. He pumps all day, but does not have a drop of water to quench his thirst. So were the children of Israel in Egypt. Whatever they built was promptly swallowed in its place in the ground, as our sages said. Similarly, one who has not been rewarded with his love, all that he has done in his work on purifying the soul the day before, it is as though completely burnt the next day. And each day and each moment he must start anew, as though he hasn't done a thing in his entire life. Then the children of Israel sighed because of the work, for they evidently saw that they were unfit to ever produce anything by their own work. This is why their sigh and prayer were whole, as they should be, and this is why their cry went up, since the Creator hears the prayer and only awaits a wholehearted prayer.
How do we reach the despair? And what type of despair do we reach? In the correct work. How to reach despair and the correct kind of despair.
Despair, the right despair, is when we try to connect with all our force and when we don't succeed. The despair is out of our own forces when we realize that not only we don't really want it, we also can't. And then we discover the one who can connect us.
Yeah, specifically from the work in trying to create this connection, so the opposite state is revealed, that we're completely tied to the desires that we don't even know from what or from where, but we're chained in this mechanism that we can't come out of.
And apparently we're also chained within some system that, well, the more you make motions, it awakens more and it chains you. And out of these attempts, you exhaust your forces trying to come out, and you discover how much specifically now you're in that state that you're chained.
But in practice, I'm not despaired. I'm here for a few days already, and I'm not in despair. I come here, I came burning to the lesson today after preparation. I'm not in despair. It's not the egoistic despair. It has to be something else that we do as a 10. This despair, to me, it's not clear what it is.
We need to try to make an effort as much as we can in order to truly break this crust that Rav talked about a few days ago, this crust that exists between the different rocks. And from that place, it seems to me the despair appears. From as much as we come burning hot, and we will want for us, for everyone, surely there's nothing we can do in order to really break this crust. And even together we don't have much to do except to reach that state of prayer, of the necessity that the Creator will break this crust and will melt together all of the matter that is inside in this pot, in the kazan.
I think that I have a feeling not of, if not of happiness, so at least a great relief in this despair, because it's despair from his own forces. It's meaning it's an understanding that I can't, and also we can, but there is somebody who can, and just aims you correctly. So specifically here, the correct prayer, the correct plea comes out. You find the direction in the work, and there's a lot of happiness in it. It's not a despair of depression.
Yeah, by way of elimination, it's about what do we have to reach and how do we reach it. It's actually a gift, because without this despair, we wouldn't be able to reach acknowledging, not in our intellect, but to truly feel and understand how much the desire for ourselves is a dead end. So this despair is purposeful.
Why, along with the despair, does the force to attack increase also?
Because the despair, as the friends described it, brings you to a state where you don't have too much to do except to see how to correctly turn to the Creator.
It's written, and the sons of Israel side from the work, specifically. That's where it is.
That is, after the bottom line of the efforts, we feel that there's no benefit, but we still hold on to some point, which is the point of breaking through. This apparently is the point of connection that we were hoping to achieve following all of our efforts.
This despair from the work shows us the correct path to attain spirituality. He wrote here that the evil inclination comes before in the work, and he must do what's in his forces, and then he'll be able to work the Creator. So until we're not done with all the thoughts of what else can we do, what do we think is right to do, what nice actions can we do, and it all depends on our actions. So we're still playing with the evil inclination, with our nature, until we reach a despair. So some different approach will open towards spirituality. that the Creator wants it, and we're just smiling and nice.
This despair actually increases the force of attack, because up to that stage you're really just working and exerting, but it's like going full gas neutral. You don't know which way to work, you try all directions. Suddenly here you discover what is the right work, how to work, in what direction. So actually here you can focus the attack and come out full strength, because finally you have the right direction.
I also think, in continuing to what Rami said, the actions we're doing are essential. You don't have to disregard anything that each one wants to do towards connection, because specifically from this whole gathering of the actions that...
Rav, what is the difference between despair from the work? It says like that. Where is that? About this, the text says, and the children of Israel sighed from the work, and their cry went up. It is so because at that time the whole of Israel came into a state of despair. It wishes to say from the work. It is as one who pumps out in a punctured vessel, etc. That is, what does it mean to be despaired from the work? Specifically from the work only. Let's go.
To be in despair from the work and only from the work, I think we're not speaking about a man, but about the 10, because a person alone doesn't have these discernments. It's discernments of spiritual work. It's when the 10 is in despair towards working that it feels that whatever you do, any magic tricks you can, whatever actions, it won't truly bring you to the spiritual state you're hoping for. And here specifically, the true work starts. The fake fuel disappears and the true one starts.
The real fuel comes specifically from the attempt to connect. This is our work. Specifically, the light is what awakens in us this despair, seemingly, and everything. There is nothing that can be revealed without the opposing thing. Therefore, both of them increase together.
Maybe it means from the attempts to connect. That's our work.
The attempts to connect, that may be what awakens the evil inclination, and it gives us a greater strength to exert. But still, the will to receive always finds some other way. Oh, you didn't try that or test this. And we're together, we can do it, we're giving spirit to each other. It's still not clear to me how, actually, out of the strengthening of our connection, it becomes clear to me why each one of us has greater strength. But the despair in practice, as he says, the one that says, we as a 10 cannot do it, only the Creator can do it.
We just grow from the two lines all the time. We make efforts in the work, and by this increase the efforts and do everything we can to increase the feeling of connection between us, building this environment that will remind each one of the greatness of the Creator, the greatness of the goal. And from this, even more despair shows up. The left line grows. So there's no other way to develop. So the more we increase our efforts to connect, we will discover as much as the solution isn't from us and it's not in the deeds.
He describes here, specifically after that part that Rav read, what does it mean to be despaired? He writes, I'm reading slowly for the translators, this is one who is pumping with a punctured vessel. He pumps all day, but he doesn't have a drop of water to quench his thirst. So were the children of Israel in Egypt. Whatever they built was promptly swallowed in its place in the ground. So, this is precisely this despair, that if you're working without direction, everything that you do doesn't give you any benefit, and that's very much despairing. The whole idea is to find the right direction. This is why this passage ends with, "He only awaits a wholehearted prayer." We really have to understand who to pray for and what to ask for. And then immediately we get an answer.
Yeah, the work here is the difference between the work for myself and the working in connection in the 10, the way we started the lesson. So that's what brings a person to despair, that transition point between this work to the work of the Creator.
Our work is in turning to the Creator. Everything that we do is in order to have in us an appeal to the Creator. And it's possible that a person despairs because one day he was able to turn properly. And
Rav, how can we imagine that we're in despair from our forces and all together we plead to the Creator? How can we feel such a state that we're on despair, and from that point of despair to connect, and we turn together to the Creator? How to describe such a state?
On one hand, we might say that indeed, after our efforts, a feeling would come that indeed a change has to occur. But maybe even now, let's say this fire we're talking about, if at that moment we will feel that the action that we want, it's not in order to fill up our belly. We're despair of this state where we're engaging in our own belly. Rather, we want to find something a lot higher than that. That already is a turning point in our thought with respect to the action.
We want to reach a state of a quality of love to dwell between us. That's it. The whole matter of saying and the work and in the efforts, and that doesn't go together with love, and it has to go together with happiness. To search how to get happiness and reveal happiness, that the Creator is taking care of us and raising us. And that should be the work, to find that point of connection and point of happiness, and not to search for all kinds of fake work that I show the friends how I'm better, or can annul better, or invest more efforts, and by this I'll beat them. From that, not love and not connection will show up.
A state where we are all despaired, that's good despair. This is despair that comes from the right work. We're always turning around this state. Seemingly it's a state which is not pleasant to feel, that seemingly a person is helpless opposite the system. There is a certain resistance here. However, through the force of the 10, by supporting each other, we can channel this state into the right form.
You can describe it that each one, to some extent, holds on to a very small desire, but if we all put the desires here in the middle of the table, so a deficiency.
Rav, we ask for the connection between us, or we ask for the revelation of the Creator? Let's say we despaired from everything, we finally turn to Him, right? What is it that we ask for?
Ask for a revelation of the Creator.
I was actually thinking that we ask to feel as one.
We ask, I don't know, to give Him contentment, and even if He won't be revealed in the vessels, so that should also be a good state. We want to be in connection with the Creator.
And in order to be in connection with Him, we need to be like Him, to take on His nature. So we have to ask for His nature, the nature of bestowal.
To ask to not depend on the result, not to work only if you get the reward, but also ask to work without a reward.
I described it before, that a group of people sit together, friends, sparks in the Zohar lesson, and each one asks for the friends. Each point is trying to ask for the other points. Maybe here, that's where our requests join into a collective request.
Yeah, because from the state I'm in, everything I ask for, even revelation of the Creator, it's like it's something impure there. But if it's for the friends and to give contentment to the Creator, so it's already a different kind of request.
Between asking for connection or asking for revelation, we need to go to one more layer deeper. What is the intention? What do you need connection for? What do you need the revelation of the Creator for? It seems to me that we have to ask that the Creator will be revealed in our connection. So it's a kind of
I guess you reach a state that you reach a true demand from the Creator. It should be on a degree that you can ask to give Him contentment. For now, it's words with no content or no feeling, but maybe on such a degree, we already want to be above all these states, that the Creator will be revealed that I feel good. That's the instinct. But let Him be revealed that from this you can bestow to Him, and that's something exalted.
Yeah, it's not that there is some place where we ask. The very attempt to connect between us, creating the true lack. It says, and the people of Israel cried out from the work, they sighed from the work, they cried, and their cry rose up to God from the work, and the Lord heard their groaning. And we need to be precise about what it says from the work twice. We need to interpret that all of the sighs were from the work. That is, that they could not work for the sake of heaven. Rather, their suffering were out of the fact that the work that they were doing, they couldn't do it for the sake of heaven, because of the shell of the Egyptians of Egypt. Because of that, it says from the work twice. One, that all of the sighs were not about anything that they were lacking. They were lacking only one thing. That is, they didn't want any luxuries and any reward. Their only deficiency it was that they were feeling suffering and pain because they could not do anything for the sake of heaven. Which means, in other words, that they would have liked to have a desire to bestow contentment to the Creator and not for self-benefit, but couldn't. And this is what they were sorry about. This is considered that they would have liked to have a little bit of a grip on spirituality. Two, the other from the work comes to teach us, and their crying rose up to God. That the Lord heard their groaning was only because they asked for work. This is what the second from the work comes to imply. It follows that all of the exile that they felt was only because they were under the dominion of the shell of Egypt and could not do anything that would be only in order to bestow.
Clear? Any questions? What?
Rav, I didn't understand the difference between 1 and 2 that he just said. In 1, I understood that they don't want a reward, they don't want anything, only a desire to bestow to the Creator. And they couldn't, so they regretted that. That's the first from the work. What is the second from the work? I didn't quite get that.
So what's written? Oh, you don't have the text.
Yeah, we don't have the text. And the second from the work, comes to teach us that their sigh rose up to God. This is that the Lord heard their groaning. This was because they only asked for work. This is what the second from the work comes to imply.
instead of the work they had. They want a different type of work. They don't want to just discover the godliness, that the pleasure is in the action. By giving contentment, you have nothing to do, so you're not giving contentment, and you also don't have any contentment from your doing. More? Yeah.
А что такое вообще отчаяние? Особенно отчаяние в десятке. Где у него килим? Что это такое?
How does despair come to the 10? What are the kelim for it?
The despair in the 10 is that we reach a special illumination from above, because it all comes from the light from above. There's never anything that comes from us, as it seems to us, that we're in despair in this world, we get mad, we cry. It's all from illuminations from above. That's how we're activated in 100% in everything. So an illumination comes from above that gives us a feeling of despair. What does that mean? That the direction you're pacing in, and you have no other way to go any other direction, only there. You don't have any other versions or variations or opportunities. None. But you won't succeed in it. So what should I do? And then you cry out. And that cry is that I'm searching for the true work, that by this I can give contentment to the Creator. And I can't see it. And that's the only thing in my hands. What I'm doing right now. Yep.
Мне понятно эгоистическое опять отчаяние. А мы тогда между ненавистью поискали разницу, между беспричинной...
It's clear to me that what egoistic despair is, but we talked about some kind of despair which is related to hatred, which is not corporeal despair. What is spiritual despair? How is it different than corporeal despair?
Spiritual despair is that I can't give contentment to the Creator. I can't establish a vessel that He can be revealed and enjoy Himself. That's upon me to do. To connect the right and left together, that He will be revealed there as the middle line. And from this, I'll feel that He is enjoying my work. So, none. What is my work? My work is to sigh. That despair, that is what I have to attain. That is the vessel. Because the rest comes from above. As if I'm doing anything for myself. But by all kinds of exerting in the 10, that we try and try and try, we get a special illumination called despair, and then we have to cry out. We're forced. It's things that are... That's how they're revealed according to the degrees. We cry out, and we get revelation. Revelation meaning how we now can work. Yes.
It's a feeling in a vessel of bestowal. It's the result of the work, this despair.
Wait, no. We don't have a vessel of bestowing it. We're just expecting to have it. We're crying out on these vessels that were still in Egypt, that were still under the control of Pharaoh. We discover that our ego is constantly in this, that we can't bestow, where we have forces to bestow from. We just cry out that we're not able to, but by the exertion we reach a state that we can. Supposedly, we want it and we can't. Those two conditions are called despair from the work. More?
So, if I despaired, seemingly I agree. Well, I agree to stay in that state. If I have the strength and if I have confidence, that's not despair.
How could it be that you're crying and screaming and demanding? That's called that you agree?
But if I have the power to cry out and I have the confidence that the Creator can help me, then why is that despair?
No. You are confusing between what you feel in this world. Here, the despair are from your actions only, not from the goal, not from the desire to attain the goal, not from anything, just from the way, the method you're working in, and you don't see a different method before you. If it would be revealed, you'd grab it and continue even more in bravery and force. The despair is only from the work. The method I'm working in is egoistic. I still don't come out of the control of Pharaoh. That's why the sons of Israel sighed from the work. You want to do some spiritual action, but you can't see how to. And we already feel that there has to be some different action from different kind, from a different world.
Why specifically in this state there is confidence that specifically now He can help us?
Because the desire to reach revelation of the Creator, to bestow, to be in dvikut, that remains. And that's the only despair I have from the way I'm working. You're not listening to what I'm saying.
I'm listening. I'm asking why now there is confidence that He can help us.
There was confidence and there is confidence. There's just no confidence from my work. You're looking at me. I understand that you don't understand. It will come. I don't have anything else to say. Only from the work. That's why he puts an emphasis on it. Oh, what's going on here?
Рафаэль все время рисует, что есть еще много действий, которые я не сделал, чтобы прийти к отчаянию.
I depict always that there are many actions I haven't yet done in order to bring me to despair. I haven't yet connected with the friends the way I need to. There are many opportunities, so we don't reach despair. How much more should these actions continue until we reach despair? Each time it seems to you that there's something somewhere else to add.
That's how it will be till Ein Sof. It'll never end. You'll always find that there's still something to do that you haven't done yet.
So what do we do?
Think. The question is correct, because a person can always say, I didn't do this yet and that yet. Of course.
Еще вопрос такой, что там в Египте, получается, не все пришли вместе к этому крику, возопились.
Another question. In Egypt, it seems that, and the people of Israel cried from the work, they didn't all reach that cry together.
Man is a small world. That's why everyone includes many different forms. And what is in the whole world is in everybody. That's why even though one person that reaches something, by reaching it, so through his secondary partzufim, that he's connected to everyone, he bestows to everyone. And in this way, everybody has to reach some kind of participation, a very certain small amount, but it's enough. It's through the darkness. The Creator takes them out of Egypt. It doesn't have to be a revelation like you're thinking, but just an agreement to reach the work of bestowal. That is what gives them the permission to come out of Egypt.
Nuremberg. שומעים? לא שומעים.
We can't hear you.
לא שומעים.
Well, okay. If so, oh,
The 10 goes through different states. How do we reach a common effort?
each and every one in the state he's in has to do it. It's not our business. Guys, you don't understand. It's the Creator organizing everything and demanding something very small from us in our participation. And not that I'm now going to check every state, what everybody's in, and calculate how we can reach the middle line where we are and their qualities, or gvoah, or chesed, or tiferet. What are we speaking about? The Creator does everything. We need to exert like children. We want to, as much as we can. The rest is from above. And also that comes from above. But and somewhat in our participation. That's it. Meaning all the forces we can give. And all the rest, the great calculations, aren't on us yet. We'll reach states where we will begin, instead of the Creator, to see where we ourselves can program the path, the actions, the revelations, the bestowal that He will enjoy us. Well, let's say like big kids can give joy to the parents, or when they give birth to grandchildren, that's already similar to Abba Ve'ima. That's later on. For now, it's not our business yet. Why we equalize, and yes and no, and criticism on every friend, God forbid. Only as much as everyone can. And again, not to forget that the Creator is the one doing it all. The right, the left, and all the trouble is from Him, for us to need Him, and all the good things supposedly come from Him, that we won't delude ourselves that as if we deserve this and now we're great and heroes and to always be above reason, just a bit. What? Moshe.
If so, when we hear that we have to work together, what does that mean, together?
Together is an illusion. Together is an illusion that I am together with the others. That illusion, why? I have this vision that's divided into 10 beams of light, and I need to cross them all to one point in order to be centered on the Creator, focused on the Creator. That's the work. That's why it's called a group and a shattering, and there's no vessel, the malchut, that needs to concentrate everything. But for what? I'm working on the lens. I work on a lens that connects all my lines of sight into one. You understand? I turn it until I discover the Creator. Yes. That's why it seems to me, I believe that I'm in a big world and there's humans here and friends, and it's all in order to to concentrate from my desire to His quality. Yes.
So, when each one of us makes many efforts, but we don't make an effort together, what does it mean then that to do it together?
We need as much as possible to work on the effort together. It's a very external effort for now. The Creator will take care of it. He will, as much as each one still works in his inner work. Throughout the day, you think sometimes maybe on the 10, but most cases, when you go back to the work, the spiritual work is your inner work. And that's how it is. It has to be that way. That's how it is for now. Afterwards, for us, it'll come close to one another. As much as I'll feel that integral reality, so the group will get close to being into one instrument.
So for the time being, we have two things. On the one hand, we have to see that my side will be a collective side together with the whole 10. On the other hand, I have to see that externally there is harmony in the work within the 10. Seemingly, there are two things.
Yes?
I heard that you say before that our despair should be from the method of the work.
Yeah.
So
there's a different type of work, a different method, how to give contentment to the Creator, and we don't know how. And the fact that we're doing it, we see that we're not succeeding. It doesn't come out.
Meaning that we don't have a method for the time being.
No, obviously no. The method is in order to be still. We can do it. As much as I do and do and do, every time I see that it was in order to receive.
Why then we have to persist on this path?
We don't need to. Don't. You have anything else to do?
I don't have anything else.
So there's no wise as the experience. You can't cry out till you reach despair. What is despair? That you have performed a sufficient number of actions that from above you get such an illumination called despair.
On the path, I collect many disturbances. I feel as though I'm doing many checks on all kinds of things that I did in life, that I tried in life. Seemingly, gradually, I focus, but at the same time, as the picture becomes more focused, the greater spectrum, a newer spectrum opens up, and I begin to...
That's always like that. That's for us in technology, too. That you reach a certain resolution, so it opens more, and then more details and more details every time.
This is called Ein Sof number 2 in mathematics. Infinity of infinity. Everywhere you have infinity.
Well, let's say.
The question is, so it's impossible to reach despair and not in the will to receive.
Also, despair is an illumination you get from above when you are supposed to get it.
What are we doing wrong that we don't reach despair?
I think we're advancing nice and correctly and pretty quick. Not that, God forbid, I want to stop our advancement. But according to what I see, I think like within the last 2 years, what we have raised above the shallowness of the study to truly implementing, still in the will to receive, but such a realization that we're reaching that border, the passage. Now what happens here as we learn? A lot of discernments that we need to concentrate them and to try and understand that the goal is the main thing and it's attained through connection. Two things before us, a goal and connection. That's where it's attained.
According to the intellect, a state where a person is getting closer to despair, gradually he should run out of forces, and here it's felt
wrong.
Exactly. Can you explain why?
Because it's not despair from being weakened by the importance of the goal, but only from my method that I can't reach bestowal. That's it. Only that. The Creator the Creator will to need. I don't want to say to need. It's like a lover that I want to.
In greater adhesion with Him.
Yeah, the longing to the Creator doesn't decrease. I want it more and more. I want to reach it. I'm like someone that He's the only one I love. He's the only one I want. But I'm despaired by how to get there. Only that. Let's say I'm on one side of the river and he's on the other side, and I'm running back and forth trying to find a way to pass the river. You understand that? Good.
So why doesn't time help?
It helps. The Creator counts this. And then from above we get the illumination called despair. And that despair, that is the vessel. No more. When I discover a sufficient amount of efforts, that's called kishui, that I really want Him.
There's something that we always come back to, which is above reason, that seemingly I don't see the results that I'm about to achieve. And actually do invest work, I do invest strength, but without direction. How do we work with that thing?
No. You work according to what we're working. Let go of that criticism. What is true, what isn't true, because then you'll get confused a lot. That's it. So we're going to Tess or continuing a bit? Who wants Tess? Who wants another part? Tess?
Moving on to the next part of the lesson from the study of the 10 Sefirot.
We are reading from the study of the 10 Sefirot, Talmud 10 Sefirot, Volume 1, Part 4, Histaklut Pnimit, Inner Reflection, page 269 in Hebrew. You can send us your questions to Kabbalah TV. Selected questions will be here in the course of the lesson. Again, Talmud 10 Sefirot, Volume 1, Part 4, Inner Reflection, Histaklut Pnimit, page 269. We are in item 66. The second kind is the ascending Or Chozer that rises from the Peh up and closes the 10 Sefirot, the Or Yashar. Item 66. The second kind of Kelim is the Or Chozer, reflected light, that ascends from below upward by the Zivug Dehaka of the Or Elyon, upper light, with the corrected Masach in Kli Malchut, called Histaklut Aleph. It is written above, in item 61, that from the Tzimtzum on, from the restriction on, the amount of the Or Elyon that the degrees receives is measured and depends on the measure of the Or Chozer that rises because of the Zivug Dehaka'a in the Masach. It is so because this Or Chozer connects and closes the 10 Sefirot, the Or Yashar.
Clear? Yeah, it's simple. What?
What's the difference between the ascending Or Chozer and the descending Or Chozer?
This is ascending and that's descending. What does it mean, ascending? Well, say it.
The ascending or chozer is from the striking the masach.
Yeah, good. And it rises upward, meaning it returns himself to the landlord. And the descending Ol Chozer is the Ol Chozer that already returns from the tabu to the peh, and on the way, there's some returning, goes down, comes back, goes down, come back. How do you call it when you sow? What? No. Anyway, so that's how he does it. So those turnarounds are very important. They build the vessels, the letters. But here we're speaking about light that comes from the masach, from the zivug da'aka, the masach of the peh derosh, and clothes the 10 sfirot of Or Yashar.
Item 67, Or Chozer Derosh is not an actual kli, but a shoresh, a root for the kelim. You must remember all that's been explained here in Or Pnimi regarding this matter of the halbasha, clothing of the Or Chozer on the 10 Sefirot Derosh, especially that this is not considered an actual halbasha, clothing, as it ascends from below upward, meaning as resistance for hitlabshut, clothing in the avyut, coarseness of the kelim. Still, this Or Chozer expands the kli malchut of the Rosh into 10 sefirot from her and within her, and they become actual vessels of reception, as we've elaborated in Or Pnimi, chapter 1, item 3.
Questions? There are none. Okay, it's clear. Yes.
I don't understand why the work being done in Rosh. Why don't we call it the construction of the kelim?
It's the root of the kelim. Don't say it doesn't belong to the kelim. It's the root of it, because it rejects it. It measures it. It connects to the direct light. It divides it to a part that is supposed to later on receive and isn't. And it builds itself. That's why it's called the root of the vessels. Don't remove the importance of it.
It sounds that this is where the kelim are being built.
The building of the vessels is only in the guf. In a minute we'll see what the difference between Rosh and guf is. But in Rosh there can't be a kli, it's only the thought. It's not actions in the desire. That's what's interesting. Actions in Rosh. Well, here it's something very subtle. The actions that take place in Rosh are the roots of the vessels, because I'm not yet working with my own desires. Let's say we're planning how tomorrow we're going to have this great meal in a restaurant. That's called Rosh. You have the flavors, you can taste them, good, okay. So that's the roots of the vessels. Meaning, what do you have? You have from your kli, you have something that's revealed now, right? But it's just the root. There's no fulfillment, nothing. Okay, next.
Item 68. The third kind is Or Chozer inverted from peh down, clothing the 10 sefirot de guf through the tabur. The third kind of kelim is the one brought above, that the Or Chozer of the Rosh, which is the above-mentioned second kind, though it is not at all halbasha, clothing, in and of itself, it nonetheless turns into an actual vessel of reception. This third kind is always called the guf of the partzuf, and the above-mentioned second kind is always called the rosh of the partzuf.
There was a question there about the difference between rosh and guf. That's a very big difference. after I made a decision in Rosh, in all the qualities, in all the calculations, but in potential. Now I put it from the Rosh into the Guf in action, in practice. And there I use my vessels. It's impossible that in the Guf something will take place that didn't take place in the Rosh. Meaning in the Rosh it's in the thought, and in the Guf it's in the action. But the compatibility, it has to be complete. Just here it's in practice and here it's in action. It's also in our world, but we don't really feel it, but it exists.
So how come if something happens in the Kli which later causes his Dakhut purification because he sees that he cannot receive altogether?
So what? That isn't considered that he didn't receive. He did receive. He revealed the new states in which different states and phenomena are revealed, and he doesn't regret receiving in the Guf. The purification is because, I was wrong. No. No, his Dakhut is because the Or Mekif, the surrounding light, was revealed specifically because he received in the Kli. The Or Mekif, the surrounding light, reveals to him that there is the purpose of creation. And if he'll face it, he won't attain. That's what we spoke about now of this method. And he sees at that point that his method has failed, but not that he regrets the action. He sees that if he stands in that same place, it's not good, it's against the purpose of creation. And what is for the purpose of creation? To depart from that state, to not be a disturbance.
So the Rosh doesn't plan the purpose of creation?
The Rosh plans, of course it does, plan for the purpose of creation, but that's what it's capable of doing. In every single action, look at the Guf of the action. He does it. Why? It's all intended to give him contentment, to reach the goal, to reach adhesion, unity, and that's in every single action. He might do 1,000 rounds along the way, but at every round that he does, he has a clear goal, the purpose of creation, and adhesion that he needs to attain. Yes?
So can it be said that the Rosh includes also the failure and the despair from...
God forbid, no. In every single state, he is correct. When I receive 20% in the Rosh, from the Rosh into the Guf, let's say I receive 20%, a very thin line. The purpose of creation is Ein Sof. Do you receive Ein Sof or not? If not, go away. No? What do you mean? I think how I can receive according to the purpose of creation to the extent that I can. It's 0.00001%. A very, very thin line. But I receive it. Because we need to learn from this, that in every single state, that's how we need to treat the work. And think about it. And I treat this state like the greatest possible state, and therefore the work is complete in every single part, because all the conditions, all the circumstances, I take them and I do the best action that I'm capable of. Like a baby that smiles to his mom, that's it. He doesn't need anything else. Go on.
Item 69. The fourth kind is the kelim from tabur down. The fourth kind is the kelim below the tabur. Consider the 10 sefirot de or choser that have no or yashar. The issue of the above-mentioned third kind applies only up to tabur, the place of the first 9 sefirot of the guf. However, from tabur down, which is the place of malchut the guf, they are not regarded as vessels of reception.
Meaning we have another part of the will to receive that isn't intended, isn't capable of receiving in order to bestow. And then these vessels, they remain below the tabur of the Partzuf. Then later on we'll see what we fill them with, because eventually the Partzuf needs to come completely full until it becomes the Igul of Ein Sof. Until the Kav will extend to an Igul, meaning limitless, without borders.
Item 70. The rejection and the itlapshut, the clothing that the Masach caused in the Rosh in potential, manifested in actuality in the Guf. The itlapshut, the clothing from the Peh to Tabur, and the rejection from Tabur down. The reason is that Rosh to the Guf are regarded as the potential to the actual. Everything contained in the Rosh as potential appears in actuality in the Guf. Hence, these two operations that the Masach caused in the 10 Sefirot the Rosh, namely the detainment on the Or Elyon upper light to not expand into Bechina Dalet being Malchut, and the Hitlapshut, the clothing in it performed by the force of the ascending Or Choser, were both only in potential in the Rosh. However, the place of the manifestation of these two operations is in the Guf. The Bechinat potential Hitlapshut in the Rosh manifests in actuality above Tabur the Guf, and Bechinat detainment into Malchut manifests in actuality below Tabur the Guf.
Questions? There are none? Okay. Keep going.
Item 71. The fifth kind is the Kelim Dit Pashtut Aleph, the first expansion called Or Av. The fifth kind is Kelim that were emptied of the Or Elyon, called Or Av. After the 10 Sefirot, the Guf expanded from Peh De'ak to Tabur. As the third kind, the Or Elyon then departed from inside them, and the Kelim remained empty of Or. There is a big difference here. Though actual vessels of reception discerned in the above Hitlapshut Aleph, the first expansion, they are still not regarded as actual Kelim. This is because of the great importance that the Kelim have there, as is written here in Or Pnimi. For that reason, the Ari says that the Kelim and the Or inside them are mixed. However, after the Or leaves there, their avyut, coarseness, manifests, and there forms a difference between the Or and the Kli. That is why these Kelim are called Or Av, coarse light.
Meaning there's a difference between a Kli that didn't receive anything, a Kli that is receiving, and a Kli that was emptied. There's a difference. It all depends on the light. Either it's before the Kli, in the Kli, or out of the Kli. And accordingly, the Kli changes greatly. It remains with Reshimot, inner lights, outer lights. There are great changes. Go on.
Item 72. The sixth kind is the Kelim that were emptied of the Orot, and the Reshimot that remain sustain them. The sixth kind is Kelim that were emptied after the Histalkut, departure, and Reshimot from the departed Orot remained in them. The Reshimot sustain and revive the Kelim to make them suitable to acquire the Orot as in the beginning. Also, they shine to the Partzuf after them, as the Ari says here.
Meaning there was light in the Kli. Through the decision of the Partzuf, the light departs, leaves the Reshimot. If the light departs not as a decision of the Partzuf, but into the Masach that disappears, that's something else. That's malfunction in the Partzuf, in the shattering of the vessels. That's it. But both of them, when there was still light in the Kli, and it departed from the Kli, either it departs through a decision, Bitush Pnim and Makiv, or it departs through the shattering, revelation of the will to receive, losing the Masach, but still the Reshimot, they remain. There's a difference in the Reshimot, but the Reshimot remain. And therefore, what does he say? The sixth kind is the Kelim that were emptied of their Orot and the Reshimot that remain sustained in them. Because the Kli can't no longer hold the light, but the Reshimot still stay. It's something very special. Sometimes I say it's like